Hello and welcome to Monday's review. I'm Abs of October Red. We're back here. It's the weekend review. A lot's gone on in boxing, so I'm only going to cover a couple of the fights and then have a little bit of a discussion on a couple of things that's going on in boxing. If you're new to the channel, welcome to you. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm out there speaking with fighters. I do quite a few lives now, and of course every Monday you're tuned in to this review. So without further ado, and pleasantries aside, we're going to go over to America first, and I'm going to cover the two fights, Jose Benavidez Jr. And Jermall Charlo. I keep on getting the names mixed up. Kind of like an emotional return for Jermall. He's obviously made it quite clear that he's had a few issues going on. We saw it in the post-fight press conference where he sort of like made an emotional appeal to his brother, which suggests that things aren't quite right. I think he was there for his brother's fight, but his brother wasn't there for his fight. Look, it's domestics, and when it comes to stuff like that, I'll keep out of it. But let's talk about his performance. And this is based off me watching the highlights because, unfortunately, I was that overwhelmed with the live that we did, which I'm going to go and touch on in a bit. I fell asleep and didn't wake up until about 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. So I'm literally talking from highlights. So if I seem slightly biased in my view, you know what to do. Just put what you think in the comments. A tough fighter. You've got to remember that, you know, Junior has been in camp with his brother, because obviously he's on the same card. We can touch on his fight in a bit against Bubu Andre, but you've got to look at the training camp that he had. Jermall came back strong. There was a lot of, it looked, from what I saw, a lot of toe-to-toe action. Benavidez Jr. was able to push Jermall back on the ropes. However, we saw confidence of fighting on the ropes from Jermall. That's what I like to see. We saw some really good uppercuts and hooks from Jermall. Proper aggressive fight. Just what he needed to get back into the swing of things. As he's mentioned, he's not going anywhere. He wants the big fights. He even mentions in the post-fight presser that he weren't too impressed with David Benavidez. He didn't do anything that wowed him. Which you're going to get in the sport. It's competitive. What are they going to do? Praise each other? If they see each other as competition, they're going to have that critical, analytical view. But if you look on it, I've heard a few people saying he should retire. Look, for the American listeners, if you want to put in the comments what's been happening with Jermall, I know I've seen a few bits with him and Caleb, slaps in the face, baby mothers getting beaten up in car parks. I've seen a little bit of that, but I don't know the full ins and outs. A couple of people calling to retire. Let me know why you think that is. Yes, he's had an extremely long time out of the ring, but based on that, his performance was good. I didn't see really any ring rust in there. And like he said in the post-fight presser, he was ready to go more rounds. He got the points decision, unanimous points decision. So yeah, I don't know, leave your thoughts on that one. But like I said, I can't be too specific on it because it was highlights. I'm going to move on to David Benavidez and Andrade. What a lovely fight that was. I like the way that it started. I was one of these that sat here and thought, I can't really say how that fight's going to go because I know Andrade can be quite awkward from the fights that I've watched him in. But then you talk about the caliber of opponents. You're as good as your last fight, aren't you? Basically. And when maybe you're not going up against like real good opponents, those opponents can make you look not better than you are, but obviously better than them. And when you're better than them, it kind of fools us. I'm one of them. I easily get fooled into seeing that, okay, this guy can do this guy can do that. Then he comes up against somebody like Benavidez, who you could see was downloading, downloading, taking a lot of shots on the gloves from Andrade that was aggressive, coming forward. And we saw him, Benavidez, take a lot of shots, and I thought, okay, Andrade's letting off a few here, but doesn't seem to be having any real impact, because David's willing to walk forward, carry, walk forward, take the shots and get those off of his own. What I saw from about round 3 was obviously David up the pace. It was like the first 3 rounds, okay, we're having a little bit of a download, we're watching what's going on, can we take his power? Okay, moving around the ring, just letting him unload. And then I think, was it round 3 or round 4 that he got dropped in? I can't remember. I can't remember what round it was that he got dropped in. But from then, with that lovely right hook slamming into his face, he was already going down anyway. The assault then started from David, and we saw then that Andrade had the respect for David's power or what he was doing. You can see that what I liked about watching David Benavidez is you can see the intent in his face, the aggression in his face. Sometimes boxers can have this poker face and, they'll get through the rounds and they'll box and they'll do this and that. But there's certain fighters that have that aggression, like, I'm going to hurt you. And so their shots are meaningful. We're seeing rotation. So obviously those slapping powers that he was giving to Andrade worked out to be too much. Literally, after he knocked him down, like I said, I can't remember if it was round 3 or 4, you could see the will starting to drop in Andrade. And albeit he came back with a few, fast combinations, I think Benavidez knew at this time that it's like, nah, this is not really affecting me. And he was able to attack the body, literally just give him a good beating in there, because that's what I saw, a really good beating. And obviously, what round was it? Causing obviously the stoppage, the TKO stoppage, where Andrade said, no mas, no more. His coach like, no more. Now, I remember I spoke to some fighters, and some of them like that knockout. They like when they see, obviously they've taken someone's power, they go down on the floor. But looking at it, I don't know what's better as to a fighter, whether somebody actually like, I don't want no more beating. That's the no more, I can't take no more, or when they're out on the floor. I don't know. For me personally, I think it would be somebody in the corner saying, I don't want any more. But then again, I haven't knocked anybody out. But yeah, obviously he got the win. I loved his post-fight press conference. One of the things that stuck in my head, well, there's a couple of things he said, but one of the major things that stuck in my head from David was his preparation. He wins in the preparation. He wins in the camp. No stone unturned. How important is it for a fighter to make sure their prep is on lock? In other words, they studied, they watched, they practiced over and over again. That repetition that he was able to obviously demonstrate in the ring, the confidence, but the politeness of it, what he's doing it for, all of that, he came across so well. But I think the preparation, when he said that, he won in the camp, he won in preparation, that's what I like to hear, because that shows that somebody's literally so tunnel visioned, so focused. He just had to win. So yeah, congratulations to David Benavidez, and commiserations to Andrade. I see a lot of things online where, people saying you quit this and that. I ain't doing that. If you can't take no more punishment, you can't take no more. So yeah, I'll leave that to those that want to talk about quitting but have never fought themselves in their life. Not my thing. So whatever. Now, unfortunately, there was a Frank Warren card on, but I haven't caught up with that, so I can't review it. But what I did do, and what I will say before I start this, is a massive thank you to everybody that tuned in to the live. I think we got up to about 500 in the chat all at once. We closed at 1.5k, and I think now we're up to 7k views on it. Thank you to everybody that, you know, for the super chats. Thank you to everybody that contributed in the chat. It was as always, our lives are good anyway, but Saturday was exceptional, as exceptional as the card. We're going to move on to the cards then. So the first few fights then, Cooney, round 1 TKO, super featherweight, stopped on his feet. I think there was they had a lot of spare time because quite a few of the fights were TKOs. A fight that I enjoyed a lot was Morrissey Brennan. We saw that fight. You could see how that fight was starting to go. Morrissey lacked a bit of head movement, considering he was the taller, the longer, the more rangy fighter. To be fair, I don't know his style. He might be long and rangy, but I don't know. He wants to fight on the inside. Who knows? Brennan was able to close the distance very, very quickly, literally springing in and springing out. Aggressive, timing was really good, and literally started to put the pressure on Morrissey. But we saw later on Morrissey started to wake up, but then it was just literally, it just went back to Brennan. Brennan literally putting that pressure on, not stopping it. He had a couple of rounds off, don't get me wrong, because I thought, oh, has he done all of this and he's going to start to tire? We said that on the live, but no, he came back into the fight. And then the towel ends up getting thrown in. I think it was the final round. So yeah, brilliant. I'll watch Brennan again. He's quite an exciting fighter. You know, just willing to put the pressure on, willing to obviously take some shots himself, but showed heart. Both of them showed heart, but you got to live to fight another day. So congrats to Brennan, commiserations to Morrissey. Zelfa Barrett versus, is it Costin Ion? A points win. I was quite surprised to see Zelfa on before the bell, to be honest, but I guess the card was stacked and they had a, you know, particular order, maybe based on ticket sales, etc., what they wanted to put out there. It was a fight, you know, Zelfa won. Costin was tough. But, you know, Zelfa got the win. Listened to his coach, obeyed the commands, went out there and did what he needed to do. I'd like to see Zelfa out like more often. I'd like to see more from him. I do like him as a fighter. I like his attitude as well. So I'd like to see Zelfa probably out more. Points win. The thing is, and this is the thing with boxing, when you're getting like stoppages, towels going in, and then somebody goes to points, like me, sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh, okay. Because maybe I'm still on that adrenaline rush of, you know, the stoppage. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Oh, God, I forgot to say shout out to Mark Tibbs' fighter that made his debut. Is it Giorgio Vizioli? Southpaw? So shout out to him. He got his round 1 TKO. Absolutely brilliant. Mark Tibbs fighter. You know what they're trained to do. They're trained to knock people out. And you, if you follow Mark Tibbs, which I do, you'll know his style. So congratulations to him. Yes, it's Zelfa Barrett. I want to see him out more, and maybe try and like push for some stoppages. But that's just me being greedy as a boxing fan. All right, Wildheart, Nicholson, Wildheart, and what was that? The interim? Is that the interim WBC featherweight? Is it interim? I think. Well, we know how that ended. It ended in a round 9 TKO. Lucy Wildheart fought Michaela Mayer, short notice, gave her absolutely credible account of her boxing ability. We saw that. We saw that in that fight. You know, former world champion, straight in the deep end. And like I said, Lucy gave a really good effort in that fight. So you think Nicholson, new in the game, you know, had a few, I think she's up to 8 fights now. I thought, oh, this will be a good fight, good test for Nicholson. Let's see what happens here. Nicholson straight away on the back foot, and literally cancelling out any work that Wildheart was trying to do, i.e. Wildheart couldn't really get close to her because Nicholson's good. She's slight on her feet. She uses the ring really well. She's got lovely ring generalship. To fight on the back foot with somebody that's coming forward, to evade, to use the angles, to use the pivot, to understand the ropes, shows really good IQ from a boxer. Lucy just didn't have the answers for what Sky was offering. You know, a couple of people were saying, oh, but you know, this back foot fighting, and we want to see it was good boxing, because Sky was able to take away that pressure front foot from Lucy. She was able to take it away and look so comfortable in there, not a mark on her face either. So yeah, really good work from Nicholson. Round 9, the towel went in as well. So that just goes to show, you know, Sky looked all calm, composed. Lucy was coming forward, but her corner knew that it was, you know, it was too much. Live to fight another day. You know, a towel comes in with that. Right, move on to Carty, the heavyweight, Celtic heavyweight champion. I think he got another TKO. Was that round? Oh, what round was that? Keep doing this. I'll write down my notes and then I never write down Carty. Let me have a look. All fighters. Thomas Carty, 7-0. Was it the final round? It was stopped. 2 minutes 19 into the final round. Paul McCullough, the ref, and Garble was down as well. Bit of a scrappy fight, bit of an untidy fight. Carty did what he had to do to secure the win. I preferred his performance in his last fight. But like I said, when you go up against certain opponents, and this is why fighters need the experience, it will bring out the type of fighter you are, to show how dynamic you can be. Can you change it to make it work for you? There's all different things that, you know, going up and getting that experience with different opponents can do. That's why I don't like to see fighters rushed. Put them in there with, you know, with tests, but don't rush them, so we can see, you know, what attributes, what gifts, what styles, adaptability, all sorts of stuff that comes with being, you know, a future world champion. So yeah, well done to Thomas Carty. Yeah, got the stoppage. Well done to him. Next one is Paddy, the real deal, Donovan, against, is it Danny Ball? People were saying they're not sure if Paddy was going to win this fight, and I was confident that he would win it. The thing is with Paddy, he's faced so much adversity, personal adversity. Getting in that ring for him must seem like a day off. Yeah, he's good at what he does. Tricky southpaw, but what we saw was power. We saw confidence and power. I thought when like Danny was tucking up and trying to come inside, I thought, okay, maybe he's just biding his time, trying to read Paddy, but Paddy's relentless. A really good fighter, a fighter that I need to see out more often. I like his style. Him and his brother, actually, under the tutelage of Andy Lee. Andy Lee that manages to get on a bit of, I don't know, not commentary as such, but a bit on the presenting, that has to run off into the changing room to prep his fighter. Paddy the real deal Donovan, got a lot of time for him. He got the TKO round 4. Is he welterweight? Get him out more often and I guarantee you he'll be in some really, really good fights. Got a lot of time for him. Right, let's move on to Gary Colley, Reese Mould. What a good fight that was. A tough fight. There's a lot of pressure on Gary Colley. I've met him, I've spoke with him. You know, at the time, that was when he was, you know, on a winning streak. And then we saw, you know, with the losses, that pressure that you have, you know, when you've got your promoter literally saying, look, I want to see exciting fights. I want to see knockouts. I want to see personality. I want this full shopping list of things, you know, including winner stays on, including pre-fight conversations where you're saying, you know, do or die fight. Could be the last TV fight for him. You know, fair enough. I don't know if he was taking it in. I don't know if he was listening. But you're listening to that, or you're hearing that, or your team's hearing that. And carrying that energy, ring walk, into the ring, a lot of pressure. This is kind of like the do or die moments. Do you sink or do you swim? The pressure, there's a lot of pressure for these fighters outside the ring before they get in there. Could we see that inside of the ring? Yeah, probably. Especially when, you know, Mold started to get, you know, a little bit of, you know, the better of Gary, literally hitting him with some clean shots. So, yeah, he got the win. But I think Eddie's going to put him in with some tougher tests, if I'm honest, to see where he actually is. It was a tough fight, but well done to him. He got the win, and he had to literally dig deep. But yeah, finally, the finale. And I'm going to go back to the press conference with Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor. All right, I'm going to touch on a couple of things around this. And I'm going to start with comfortable confidence. We're looking at the media workout. I think Chantel Cameron mentioned that she could see the flaws already in Katie. She's seen them. She knows what they are. She believes that she'll beat her in a better fashion this time. Confident. You know, I've had that fight. I've won that fight. Yes, I can do it again. We saw that, you know, more relaxed. Like she said last time, she might have been a bit uptight, a bit nervous. All the surrounding stuff, being away, you know, getting booed, all of that extra pressure. Then we saw Katie Taylor. And I said, I've never seen Katie Taylor this ice cold. She was freezing to the point of, I can't even say emotionless, because you could almost see like her teeth were gritted. That loss had really affected her. Like, not like, I wouldn't say ego-wise, but she's worked hard to get where she is. She's a trailblazer for the sport. And it was almost, how dare I lose? So there's absolutely no way Chantel's going to win this rematch. That was kind of like the almost like angry energy, and that filtered, you know, into the press conference. We saw it at the weigh-in, and I think Chantel mentioned that he's somewhere that she sent Katie a text, you know, after the first fight to say, oh, thanks, you know, thanks for sharing it, and there was no reply. No reply. It was like, nah. Katie Taylor mentions it in the post-fight presser. Listen, this has been the hardest wait, 6 months to get a rematch. And that seemed like forever to Katie. So she was literally tunnel visioned and focused that she was going to get this win and nothing was going to stop her. So yeah, interesting to how that played out. You know, we go back to the arena. The arena was absolutely packed, brim to the ceiling. You know, you could pick up on the energy just listening to it, even watching it at home. Absolutely fantastic fight. All of it, you know, Katie going into the ring first, Chantel coming out last. Everybody thinking, you know, oh, you know, Cameron's going to win. She's too big. She's too strong. The light, I said on paper, based on last time, yeah, Cameron should do it, but I don't know because I saw a difference in Katie. I always praise Chantel Cameron. One of the things I always praised her about is her ability to be able to control a fight. I don't know who was listening to that, but I'll tell you something. Katie switched that narrative. Katie went in there and she controlled that fight. I heard her coach in the corner saying all sorts of stuff to her. Basically, win by any means necessary. Do what you've got to do. I did think there was a knockdown in round one. I did think it was a knockdown. Unless I go back and zoom in and go in with magnifying glasses or teleport myself back in time, I'm not going to know for sure. But I thought it was a knockdown. But then we saw an aggressive fight. We saw Katie Taylor nullify Chantel's jab. Nullify it. So inviting her in, making her feel like she's confident to throw that jab, nullifying it, and then just throwing off the combinations. Soon as Chantel tries to get back to that, she clinches her. Should the ref have given her a bit of a tap on the shoulder and said, pack it in? Yes, because she was quick to go. The ref was quick to go at Cameron when, say, for example, maybe punched to the back of the head, the forearm bar going out, because Chantel's trying to get her at range, to get that jab back in, to get back on the jab, to set up what she wants to set up, which is, like I said, Cameron likes to control the fight. We didn't see that. We saw Katie nullify it. Every time Chantel tried to come out with that, Katie just went, nah. Won by any means necessary. Head clashes. Somebody put in my comments that there was intentional headbutts. I haven't watched it back to see that. Yes, there were a lot of head clashes, but I believe those head clashes is because literally Katie was trying to nullify Chantel's work, smother her work, and that was a deep cut. I think to one point the doctor was looking at it and was like, no, we're going to carry on this fight, because obviously then it would be a technical win to Katie, which obviously Chantel didn't want. They've worked hard. They wanted to, they wanted to get this win. They wanted to win for the second time, 2 weights, but it just didn't happen like that. Katie was focused. Another thing that I noticed as well, Katie doesn't usually have her hair in braids. In the comments, please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time I noticed Katie Taylor came out with 2 braids, and I remember tweeting it. She's come out with 2 braids. She is not coming to play, because usually Katie Taylor's hair's all over the place. It's in her face. We've seen it before. It's like, oh, just scrape your hair back. No, she thought that hair ain't getting nothing's getting in my face. 2 braids, good to go. One of the things I wanted to say as well, the scoring. All right, then I'll leave that down to the judges. I had it literally 6 to Katie, 4 to Chantel. So I did have Katie winning it, even with the knockdown. I would say I'd give it to Katie. A good win, a strong win. Literally, the girls put on a show. We were entertained. Those 2-minute rounds were like 30 seconds, because it was literally, I was getting that confused of how quick it was going, because the rounds were just flying. It was a fantastic match. Trilogy, maybe. There's lots of fights out there. Maybe Chantel will want the trilogy more now as well. Who knows? I'd like to see, Amanda Serrano, and fair play. I think somebody mentioned that possibly as a finale. I'd say this is a finale. Natasha Jonas, Katie Taylor, like the final. They fought in the amateurs. Let's close it off with that as a finale. Who knows? There's all sorts of options out there. Katie Taylor shows no sign of saying, I'm going to retire. She's keen. She's good to go. She's focused. She's about legacy. It was a good fight to watch. Shout out to Sandy Ryan as well, because she was in camp sparring Katie Taylor as well. So yeah, that was real good stuff. So listen, we're going to wrap it up. I didn't get to watch all of the fights, so apologies for that. The American, it was highlights because I didn't watch the fights live. Once again, thank you so much for joining on the live on the weekend. We had an absolute ball. some good banter. Like I've said time and time again, I've got the best subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, why haven't you? Right, content this week then. Obviously the review's going up. Should be up shortly. Sorry it's late today. I had a few things to look at. Wednesday we're looking at a media day for Boxxer. Thursday we're looking at the weigh-in for Wasserman. Friday I'm not doing a watch along for the Wasserman card. Saturday I'm doing a watch along for Conlan and Gill. It's another card back in Ireland again. So yeah, we'll be live again on Saturday. And obviously, I'll let you know what I'm doing the week after. I should have been in some gyms this week, but because some of the media events... Oh yeah, and I think I'm going to BCB event on Friday as well to see Nathan Heaney, Liam Davies, and obviously, you know, can't not say Tyler Denny. So I might do a bit of BTS, different kind of footage for that. I don't know. We'll see how that one goes. So that's the content that's going to be coming over to October Red. Also, you know, you've got the bits in the corner, whatever corner it is. Don't know. October Red Media on Instagram. October Red UK on X. I've got to stop saying Twitter. Listen, thanks once again. It is what it is. I've looked on Twitter, but it's just gossip at the moment. Oh, and congrats to DAZN for getting the broadcasting rights globally for the Day of Reckoning. And of course, we're going to be doing a watch along for that. But I'll keep you updated closer to the time. As we say, stay ready.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.